Hare Krishna. We continue reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, text 40. This is a very famous verse. Neha bikrama nasoste pratyavayo na vidyate swa alpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So as we were speaking in Bhagavatam, in the Bhagavatam just now we were reading that in the path of bhakti, one thing we do also is never lost, and it's to our greatest benefit. Little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So we can see that bhakti, the minute we engage in bhakti, we are already getting the result of it. It's not like jnana and yoga there. We have to cultivate, and the result we will get after millions of lifetimes. No, bhakti, we get the result of it immediately. That how much ever we do, that much benefit we get. Activity in Krishna consciousness or acting for the benefit of Krishna without expectation of sense gratification is the highest transcendental quality of work. So this is Bhakti Yoga, for the pleasure of Krishna. Let me act for the pleasure of Krishna. Even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can that small beginning be lost at any stage. Any work begun on the material plane has to be completed. Otherwise, the whole attempt becomes a failure. So if we, for example, we have started doing our degree course, but if we don't finish it, we don't get the degree. So we cannot get the benefit of that. If we are doing a degree course to learn something, but then we don't get that benefit. We are not able to practice it. But any work begun in Krishna consciousness has a permanent effect, even though not finished. So no matter if we have done only till level 1, we have that effect. We have that fruit of that level 1. The performer of such work is therefore not at a loss, even if his work in Krishna consciousness is incomplete. So whatever we do, how much ever, just by holding the Bhagavad Gita also we get benefit. That Krishna consciousness begins. That's why when we are advised, when, just encourage someone to touch the book, just to speak once Hare Krishna, just to hear once Hare Krishna, just to have the prasad once, just to see the deity once. Once they have done it, the devotional service has begun. Whether this life or next life, they will become devotees. But material life is not like that. By just reading one word of one degree book, I'm not going to get anything out of it. By just touching the book, I'm not going to get anything out of it. But spiritual life is like that. Bhakti is like that. So even if in this life, how much ever we have been able to do, the next life, we will not forget that our connection to Krishna to that degree has already been established. We don't need to start from all over again. Oh, how much ever faith we have gotten in this life, we will continue from that level. How much ever love we have gotten in this life, we will continue from that level. It's not that again we have to convince and get the faith and get the devotion. No. 1% done in Krishna consciousness bears permanent results, so that the next beginning is from the point of 2%. Whereas in material activity, without 100% success, there is no profit. So in fact, if we want the best return, the best ROI, for investment, people say rate of return or ROI, or the return on investment. So that's the best one we can do is when we engage in bhakti. That's the highest profit. Ajamil performed his duty in some percentage of Krishna consciousness, but the result he enjoyed at the end was 100% by the grace of the Lord. Ajamil, he was a devotee earlier in life, then he gave up. Then at the end of life, he said Narayan. Then again, he got the time to perform devotional service and he went back home, back to Godhead. It was not lost. His his devotional life, which he did in his early years, was not lost when he himself got lost during the middle part of his life. No, it came used to him at the end of life. And there's so many devotees who give this, who speak about this even in their own personal lives. And devotees speak about other devotees in their personal lives, that there were so many devotees initially who helped Prabhupada so much. And then somehow or the other, they left Krishna consciousness movement. But at the end of life, they came back. And they had very wonderful ways that they left their body. So Krishna never forgets. Never, never. Srila Prabhupada never forgets. A little service done for Srila Prabhupada, he never forgets. You know, so many devotees at the end of life, although they had given up the Krishna consciousness movement, they were saying, oh, Srila Prabhupada, you came. There are other devotees who have recorded this. And when they're leaving the body. You know. So spiritual life, there is no loss, no loss. Just the little bit we do is our greatest benefit. There is a nice verse in this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's never late. It's never late to take up Krishna consciousness. In this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17, Tyakvasva dharmam charanam pujam hare bhajan apakvo athapate tato yade yatra kwa vabhadram abud amushyakim ko vartha apto abhajatam swadharmataha. If someone gives up his occupational duties and works in Krishna consciousness and then falls down on account of not completing his work, what loss is there on his part? And what can one gain if one performs his material activities perfectly? This is Bhagavatam is saying that even if somebody does his material duties very perfectly, but without any connection to Krishna, what is the gain you're going to get? You know, you'll still be in the material world. But if we become a little bit Krishna conscious and we are not able to go through it fully, that is the highest gain. Or as the Christians say, what profit a man if he gain the whole world, yet suffer the loss of his eternal soul? So if we are going to just try to make ourselves comfortable and everybody connected to the body comfortable without connecting ourselves and them to Krishna, then it's a total waste of time. So not that we have to give up our duties, we continue doing our duties for the pleasure of Krishna. And in that way, we are giving Krishna consciousness to everyone who we are connected with. Material activities and their results end with the body, but work in Krishna consciousness carries a person again to Krishna consciousness, even after the loss of the body. So if somebody is begun his devotional service and not able to complete it, in the next life, they will be taken birth in families of devotees, or they will be given opportunities to engage further, increase their bhakti further and further. So there is no end. It's not that, because it's to do with the soul. The soul never dies. The soul is eternal. It's the eternal duty, it's Swadharma. The Sanatan Dharma of the soul is to engage in bhakti. So we engage in bhakti now, and we engage in bhakti after we give up this body. But whereas material duty, it is very connected. It's very limited to this body. For example, if I'm in the body of a woman and I have this particular duty, so all my activities duties are connected to right now my position, my circumstance, whatever I am doing. But in the next life, I might be a totally different species in a totally different planet. So whatever I did here was total waste. You know? So at least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being born as a human being, either in the family of a great cultured Brahmana or in a rich aristocratic family. That will give one a further chance for elevation. That is the unique quality of work done in Krishna consciousness. And that's the reason we are advised to give this Krishna consciousness to everyone, whoever, at least in the next life. Even if they don't take it up, at least in the next life, they can become human being again. They do not have to go to the animal kingdom, you know, and then they can continue It will give them a chance to engage in bhakti, in devotional service. Or they could take up devotional service in this life itself. So the result of bhakti, the result of devotional service is permanent, eternal. The soul is eternal. And the result of bhakti is eternal because it's our eternal activity. It is our sanatan dharma. So how much ever we can do is for our eternal benefit. We'll stop here for today. If there are any questions or comments, no, then we'll stop here. Thank you so much for joining in. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.